Let us see an example of connecting a MySQL database from an Android application. In this example, we are just trying to connect to a database, MySQL database, which is installed anywhere. In our scenario, I will install it in my laptop and I will try to connect from an Android application. The important points are you can connect from an Android application to a MySQL database or any other database using JSON. You have to write a PHP code or any other server-side script which generates JSON, to which the client application, which is the mobile application, connects and gets the data. We have seen an example of this, a video of this before. Now we are going to see how to connect to a MySQL database from a mobile application, an Android application, without using JSON. First and foremost, we need to run a MySQL server. How to install a MySQL server? You can download what is called as Zamp. You can go to the internet, you can Google it. You can use Zamp, X-A-M-P-P. If you go here, you will find Zamp installers and downloads. You can download the version which is appropriate to your machine, if it is Windows, Linux or OS X or whatever. Install it. After you install, you have what is called Zamp control panel. In this panel, Zamp is made up of Apache, MySQL and others. We need the Apache, which is a web server. We also need the MySQL. So we are starting these two services running on your machine. If suppose your machine is already having a web server installed, if you start this, it might not run. It will complain that the server cannot start. So in my case, it is started. How to confirm it is started? I can go to the browser. I can type localhost and press enter. Okay, so you see I will get this page. And I also have to go to my control panel, my command prompt, type ipconfig, provided I have some internet connectivity. In my case, this is my IP address, 10.6.73.64. I also have a wireless connection, which is this IP. I'm going to use my wired connection, 10.6.73.64. So if I go here and type 10.6.73.64, press enter, I should get this page around. The next step to do, to go to your AVD, which is your emulator in your Android Studio. I'm going to use Android Studio in this example. Okay, I open a browser there. In the browser, type this IP address, 10.6.73.64. This is to confirm whether I'm able to access this server from my emulator or not. Similarly, if you're going to test this application from your mobile phone, connect your mobile phone to any Wi-Fi and make sure you can access this IP address, which is my Wi-Fi's IP address. Okay. If I can access it, that means I'll be able to access the database. If I'm not able to access it, I won't be able to access my database. Now, so my server is running. You can see the MySQL runs on port number 3306. And from the browser, I'm able to access my Apache server. So I can see it is running here. Zamp is running. Now going back to my Android application, it is similar to any other Android application. You write a program, a Java program, which extends activity. You have onCreate and other methods. I'm not going to explain this detail. I will only explain those that are relevant to MySQL database. You need what is called as a MySQL connector. This one you need, this file, MySQL connector Java. Some version, you need this file. What you have to do is you go here, click on the app, the project, right click it, select new, create a directory. In this directory, you put libs. Okay, then click OK here. Automatically, it will create this directory. Then, if you have downloaded this MySQL connector file somewhere, just copy and paste it here. So you can right click and paste the file here. It will paste it there. So now the file, the library is already included in your package. This is done. Number two, you got to go to what is called build.gradle, which is this file. In this file, go to the end of the file and add this line. You say dependencies, compile, blank space files within bracket, libs, which is this folder libs, MySQL connector, whatever the whole name, close the quote and the bracket. Okay. You might be asked to sync this Gradle. You can accept syncing the Gradle. So once this is done, now if I go to my Java program, I can import java.sql.connection and all these things. Remember, these classes are available in that package. You can see here, if I go into my app, if I go into lib, I have this jar file. I open it using 7-zip. Let's open it as an archive file. You see it contains the necessary packages inside. Okay, it has the MySQL, JDBC, all these packages which I need are already inside. It's available there. I can use it. So now if you go to your program, you have to say this. You need an URL, you need the username, you need the password. To do this, what you can do, go to your browser and open what is called php myadmin. From the same IP address, php myadmin. Here you can go to databases. If you want to create a brand new database, you can type the name here, create. I have already created, which is test database. In the test database, if you go to privileges, you will see who can access it. Okay. So you can create a new user, provide him with access. Remember, if you click the new user, this field you can say it's accessible only from localhost. If you leave it any host, it can be accessible by anybody. Okay. So that is the point. We want anybody to access it. Give the proper username, password, permit them to do all this access, and you then click go here. Okay. So then automatically the user will be enabled. You will have a user like this. In my case, I have used a username test123 and the password is test. So in my code, I write the URL is jdbc colon mysql colon /. This is my IP address. If you notice, this is my IP address. And the port number is 3306 because I see here this is 3306. MySQL is running on 3306. Then this test is my database name of my DB. So if you go here, I told you this is my database. Database is test. So I'm going to see the structure of the database. It has two tables. One is instructor, one is test. I don't bother about test. I will bother about only the instructor. This is the instructor and it has my data inside. Okay, some name, some ID, some department. You can check the structure of the database and all this if you want to. So you can change, you can create. It's pretty easy here. You can also run your SQL commands here. Okay, let's go back to our Android code. So this is my database name, this is my username, this is my password, this is JDBC MySQL, and this is my IP address, this is the port number in which MySQL server is running. If I'm going to host my server somewhere else, you have to change this part with that domain name plus the DB name, the database name, and all others remain the same. Now inside my code, this is the main point here. Okay, this line here. I'm saying class that for name you load this driver. You can see this is available here in my MySQL. Remember, java.sql is not in that library, my MySQL connector library. It is this one, the com.mysql is available here. You can see com, MySQL, JDBC, all these things are here. So use the class name, put connection, driver manager, get connection with the URL, which is the URL you define here, and the username and the password. Then you can see, you can issue com.create statement. Then you can start executing it. Okay, you can execute. If it is successful, you will execute, otherwise it won't. So you can see execute query. I am saying select star from instructor, because in my database, I have instructor, which contains this table. It has some data also. Okay, let's go in. This is my table instructor. You can see if I click browse, I have some data. Okay, I can add more data if I want. So now when it is ready, you just click, it will run. Actually, what I'm doing here is this. Here I'm reading the metadata, okay, and then I'm getting the column name. Let me run it. Column name, I'm getting the actual value also. Remember, if I want to get a string, I put get string. If I want to get integer, I put integer, and so on. So here you can see what I'm doing. I'm creating a statement. I'm executing the execute the query with the statement, then getting a resultant set. The result set, using the result set, I can iterate one row by row. Okay, so here you can see I'm getting the metadata as RSMD and I'm displaying the column name. So if you go to my program here, so it has to run and I'm getting this and I'm displaying in my text view. Okay, TV is accessing my text view from my layout file. You can go to the layout file. You will see that is text underscore view. Okay, text underscore view. So I'm accessing it from here. So these are the steps you got to do when you want to run your application. Okay, so let me just run my application again. So these are basic, and you can see I have also introduced what is called as strict mode thread policy, because if I want to access a database and things like this, I'm supposed to run it. I can only access it using a background task, which means I have to write what is called async task and do the job. Just to make things easy right now, I'm just using this option, but it's not compulsory always that you should use this. Actually, it is not advisable to use strict policy, but just to use your what is called as async task. That will do the job for you. While the program is being run on my emulator, here are few points to note. Just a recap quickly. You need the library. This is very important. Number two, in your brid.gradle, you need to add that library inside. Number three, in your program, you have to change to the respective IP address and the port number in which your service is running. Okay. So you can see it has connected now. It says database connection success, my name, ID, department, and whatsoever. So this is the basic of accessing a database from an Android application. Remaining you can do further. Thank you.